Now, back to more of Behind the Scenes at the Hanover Theater. And your host, Lisa Condon.
Good morning once again, and thanks for listening. I am here with Moe Boisvert. Moe is our incoming chairman of the board. We're thrilled to be working with him. We've been working with Moe for a while, and he is such a leader in the community. Welcome, Moe.
Well, it's a thrill to be here this morning with you, Lisa, and it certainly is a tremendous honor and privilege and a humbling experience to be asked to chair the Hanover Theater because the board has been such a committed, dedicated group of volunteers that have done so much to support the success of the Hanover Theater. So I am really looking forward to working with them, getting their support to continue to make the Hanover Theater the game changer that it is for the city of Worcester.
Oh, I like it. I like the way you think, game changer.
Absolutely.
Onward and upward.
Absolutely.
We have a bright future. And, you know, it's interesting because, as you know, I've been with the theater since before we opened. So I saw the board back before the theater opened. And what really impressed me most is that this is a roll up your sleeves and get it done kind of board of directors.
Absolutely. It really has been. People have worked so hard. And I have to really begin by saying that our current chairman, Jim O'Brien, has been probably the most passionate, committed, dedicated person to the theater, the board, and the success of the theater in the city of Worcester. He has really provided the stewardship to see so many milestones at the theater, from our millionth customer this month,
right?
Which was very exciting, and I know Jim was thrilled about that. And certainly the fact that the theater is ranked 50th in the world as the
in the top
best,
50.
Yeah. In the top what?
In the top 50. We've broken the top 40 before.
Yeah. Well, it's just really fantastic, and that's based on, I think, numbers of performances, quality, just a whole bunch of standards that really say that we are on top of the world. We are a world-class city, and we have a world-class theater here in Worcester, and that is just an absolutely terrific thing. And I know Jim, who's worked so hard on it, it was really thrilled when that happened. I think the other thing that Jim really is particularly proud of is the fact that the board has come together in such a unified way and really developed working committees and really have supported him in everything that he's tried to do. And one of the big things Jim initiated, of course, was the whole Securing the Future capital campaign for the theater.
Tell people a little bit about that, because we haven't really talked about that publicly very often.
Right. You know, the theater is actually operating in the black, which is another reason why we were identified as one of the top theaters in the world, is because that we are getting tremendous support from the public. Our attendance at performances is outstanding. That plus the financial support that we're getting from foundations, corporations, and individuals have made it possible for us to end the year with a small surplus every year except for the first year. And that is just very unusual for performing arts venues to be able to be that successful.
Especially if I can't just jump in here, during this economy.
Yeah, the economy certainly over the last 5 years hasn't been the best.
No.
But I think the excitement about the theater, how it's, brought Broadway to Worcester and really everybody in Worcester and surrounding towns. I think one of the most amazing statistics that people out there should know is that when we first opened up, 80% of the attendance came from the city of Worcester and surrounding towns and 20% from outside. And now it's reversed. We got 80% coming from outside of Worcester and 20% from the greater Worcester area. But the total number of attendance from Worcester hasn't gone down.
That's right.
It's just that the total volume of attendance has just gone up, and we're drawing people in from further and further away from Framingham and Wellesley and northern Worcester County and New Hampshire. And so it's just so exciting to see Worcester, the heart of the Commonwealth, really pulse like the heart of the Commonwealth. That heart's beating very strongly, and the theater is certainly one important aspect of that. But we know if we're going to secure the future, we've got to have some kind of capital reserve for down days, because certainly the economy can be one thing. And with performing arts venues, you know, things like the weather can do you in, you know. If we had a huge snowstorm when Jersey Boys comes in January, God forbid.
Oh, don't even finish that thought.
Yeah. So we have to be prepared. We have
Yeah.
to do our due diligence as a board. We want to make sure that nothing's going to derail us from our success story here. In order to do that, we really need to start thinking about building up a reserve. And in order to do that, we've got to pay off the final piece of the construction, the original construction, which we owe, which is about $4 million. Okay, so I think that hopefully we'll be able to get there. And I think that the success that we've had so far with Jimmy and Dr. John Sullivan's co-leadership of our campaign is a tribute already to the support from the foundations, corporations, and individuals in Worcester. We're just about at $3 million right now on our $5 million goal. We have many events coming up to give people an opportunity to participate in making Worcester the wonderful city it is, and to, you know, build the bridge to the future. And our hope is that we're going to see more and more people continuing to help us with this campaign, and we hope to reach our goal. And we'll keep you posted. Now, I believe you can contribite through the website.
Oh, absolutely.
And so anybody who would like to contribute can contribute by going to the Hanover Theater website. I will say this. My first experience at fundraising was an experience to renovate the old St. Joseph's School on Hamilton Street into our family center when I was CEO at U Inc. And I remember talking to Bruce Bennett, who was the publisher of the Telegram and Gazette at the time, and we asked him to chair the committee. And he said, well, if I agree to chair the committee, it means I have to give until it hurts, or give until it feels good, depending on how I want to look at it, because I can't ask my friends to give unless I've given myself, you know. And I'm sitting there going, oh, gosh, I guess I better start thinking about giving myself. Mm-hmm. And one of the things about a capital campaign that's kind of unique is we ask people to give over a 3-year period. You know, it isn't just one kind of gift. It's a pledge over a period of time. Because when you do that, you can give a more meaningful gift. So if you were to give, for example, $250 a quarter for 3 years, that's a $3,000 pledge.
Right.
But when you break it down and think about $250, there are a fair number of people who could, in fact, afford to do that. I know when I made my first pledge after Bruce's urging, so to speak, my wife and I at the time had 2 kids in college and 2 kids at Notre Dame Academy. We weren't in a very good position. I don't think I ever had more than $20 in my pocket at any one time. But, you know, I found I could make a pretty sizable pledge if I had it taken out of my paycheck every week. And I just never noticed it gone after a while. And you kind of built it into your plan. And it really, you know, it makes a huge difference. And so anybody that's thinking about making a gift might want to consider making a pledge over 3 years and doing that. We're always happy to talk to people. We'd like to show people around the theater. If people want to come down and meet with Lisa or myself, come on down. Absolutely. We would love to show you around. We'd love to tell you more about the plans that we have for the future of the theater. So please, I think people should always feel great about calling the theater and asking to come down. One of the things that makes the theater experience absolutely spectacular, I think, is the fact that we've got volunteers who work down there every performance. They are so welcoming. When you walk in that theater, you just feel good from the second you walk through the doors till the time you leave. And I know Jim is fond of saying that, you know, his greatest joy of being chairman for the last 4 years is seeing the smiles on people's faces when they're leaving the theater, which is just great. You know,
it is.
It's absolutely terrific.
Well, and you know, it's not just the operational cost, but really the building itself is such a jewel. We have won those National Trust for Historic Preservation Awards 4 excellence in the renovation, but it takes quite a bit to keep up a beautiful old building like that.
Absolutely.
Do you happen to know how many square feet that is?
Gee, I don't know what the square footage of the theater is, but it's a lot, and it does require a lot of upkeep, and we do want to keep it first class.
Absolutely.
And so in order to do that, we actually have created a new committee on our board.
Oh, good.
A facilities committee, and the facilities committee is going to work with the staff to identify all of the projects that we think we need to do over the next 3 years and try to make a complete list and then make a priority listing of them so that we tackle each of those things in order of priority over the next 3 years to keep the theater looking as beautiful it is today.
Oh, that's great. So listen, we want to hear so much more, so we're going to take a quick break, and then everybody stay tuned for more behind the scenes on WCRN AM 830.
Now, back to more of Behind the Scenes at the Hanover Theater. And your host, Lisa Condon.
Thanks again for listening as we continue the conversation with Moe Boisvert, our incoming chairman of the board for the Hanover Theater for the Performing Arts. And Moe, during the break, we were talking about the experiences that we've had at the theater.
Oh, absolutely fantastic. One of my favorite experiences, without question, is coming up, and it's Christmas Carol.
Love it.
It is absolutely fantastic. Every year, it's a little different.
Yep.
And I have to say that, Troy, our artistic director, who produces Christmas Carol, does the most fantastic job with that production that could possibly be done. And one of the aspects of that production that, for me, is really exciting is all of the local talent that's in that production. We got all those kids from the local area. It's just wonderful to be able to give people from the local area the opportunity to participate in something like that. I know for me to be able to bring my 10 grandchildren every year to see Christmas Carol and get together before and have dinner and then go to the theater together, it's just such a great family experience for everybody. It's just absolutely terrific. And then, I think on top of that, it makes such a joyous thing for the holiday season. And I think what a lot of people don't know, it makes a joyous experience for foster kids, kids coming from abusive and neglected homes, because every year the theater, through the United Way and to the Department of Children and Family Services and other nonprofits, gives families who traditionally wouldn't have an opportunity to come to the theater and experience a live performance like Christmas Carol. And we invite over 1,000 of them every year to come in. And I know from experience with some foster families that have brought kids, what a wonderful family experience it was and what a terrific opportunity.
Absolutely. And I have to say, one of the things about Troy Siebel that people may or may not know is he is a genuinely nice person.
Absolutely.
And he is genuinely nice to others. He cares. He doesn't want anybody not to be getting along, and he wants to help. And so the fact that, A, it's a Christmas Carol, and it's a story about Scrooge, and a lesson, don't live as a miserly, greedy person.
Right.
Be generous, be kind. You can make a difference in people's lives by being a good boss and helping people along with the comforts of their everyday life rather than making them freeze. And it's just so nice because he does tie in to the community through the United Way and the children and the families, and the story itself is absolutely fabulous.
Yeah, it makes Christmas what Christmas is really all about. And so anybody out there who has not seen Christmas Carol, you are missing a wonderful experience. And if you've seen it, you want to go again because it's just so spectacular.
Absolutely. Yeah. And the fact that the stage itself, like I say many times, we hand paint that stage every year to look like the streets of London. Yeah. And when you see the set, it is so beautiful because he's hired the same people who are doing the sets for the Broadway tours. So this is not community theater at its best. And the local people who audition and are selected to be in the performances, they have a very intense Broadway-like rehearsal schedule where they are in rehearsal pretty much every day, well, 6 days a week, from the day after Thanksgiving all the way through the run of the show. So it truly is like a Broadway experience for aspiring actors and actresses. And Troy has discovered many children who have ended up on Broadway because they auditioned and were in A Christmas Carol.
Yeah, that's right. And, the other thing is people don't realize we're doing this year round. We just had Memphis, for example, which was absolutely great. I talked to somebody. They said, I saw Memphis on Broadway in New York, and then I just saw it at the Hanover Theater, and the Hanover Theater production was better than the one on Broadway.
I have heard that for multiple things, as a matter of fact.
It's absolutely fantastic. Yeah. But another thing that made it absolutely spectacular was the theater partnered with South High School.
Absolutely.
And South High School developed a little curriculum module around the time of Memphis in the 60s, during the time when civil rights was becoming something all of us were becoming aware of, the need to do something constructive. And they did things like who was president and, what is civil rights and all of that kind of stuff. But they also, the music department, developed a whole program around the songs in the theater. And then at 2 of the performances of the theater, almost 1,000 kids from South High School came to the performance, then came down the aisles and sang the reprise with all of the cast in the performance, which was just so moving. I know people that were there that were almost in tears.
Right.
In fact, I know Jimmy was there, and he described it at our last executive committee. He almost came to tears at the executive committee, so I know he was crying during that performance. It was just so moving to see that experience for all those kids from South High School with that.
And what's really great is that because we're doing more and more of the longer runs of these national Broadway tours, we as a theater are going to have more of an opportunity, because some of these tours do have educational programs that they already have created. They've already tested out. We just need to implement them. So it's great that we finally have the opportunity and the bandwidth to forge these relationships. Megan Patrick and David MacArthur and our operations and education director just do a great job with the South High School. Maureen Benenda, that principal, she is one of our volunteers. So there's a natural connection there. Our volunteers, they donate to that food pantry at South High. So we are in love with South High School, and we want all of those students to succeed. And incorporating arts into the curriculum, it is a proven success generator.
That's right. It absolutely is. The research is clear. Kids want to attend school when they're having that much fun learning. And I think that's what it's all about. So
the great thing is, moving forward, hopefully Megan is able to repeat this experience with the appropriate show year after year, and we can really spread that joy and love of learning and really make the academics come to life.
Yeah.
That's
Absolutely.
great.
And I just would share with everybody, I'm looking forward. There's so many fantastic performances coming up. I mean, I can't list them all, but I know I'm really looking forward to Man from La Mancha and, of course, Jersey Boys. I've had the opportunity, actually, to go see Jersey Boys once or twice outside of Worcester. And I said, no way, I'm waiting for Jersey Boys to come to the Hanover Theater. And every meeting we had at the board, one of us would be asking Troy, when is Jersey Boys coming? So they're going to be here for 2 weeks. I've got a whole group of about 15 to 20 people, including my whole family, that's going to be coming, and we're going to have a good time before and it's just going to be absolutely fantastic. Last year, Rain and Paul Anker, I mean, some of these performances just had people dancing in the aisles. Right. It was just absolutely fantastic.
And that's one of my favorite parts right there, is when you're at an event at the Hanover Theater, and it will happen at Jersey Boys, I guarantee it.
Absolutely.
People are going to go to that show, and they're not going to really think, it's going to be okay. But let me tell you, from my experience, when I saw it on Broadway, I was tapping my foot. I was singing along, and I'm like, wow, this is fabulous. Yeah. And when you look around in the audience and you see that other people are doing the exact same thing, it's that shared experience that makes all the difference.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. It's just so much fun to get into that old music, and I'm really just looking forward to it. It's going to be terrific. Absolutely great.
And we all need to feel better, because
absolutely.
that joy, it spreads into other parts of our lives.
And that's what the performing art really do for us, doesn't it? It helps us to think about who we are, how we fit in the universe, and also makes us feel good about the life that we have even now in the present. So it's really just a great thing, you know. I did want to kind of shift gears a little bit and talk a little bit about the future from the point of view of the volunteer board. We're very excited about not only all the performances that are coming up, but we're also looking to continue to have an impact in the city of Worcester. As you know, we have the theater district.
Yes.
We've got a lot going on. There's a lot of things to pay attention to, like parking and safety and the development of the buildings around the theater. We really think we already have had a big impact on economic development, but we're hoping to continue that tradition down the road so that the theater really becomes an integral part of many aspects of the wonderful story of Worcester.
It is a wonderful
story of Worcester. And the revival of Worcester from the transition of manufacturing to a more biotech, education, health economy. And it's just been such a wonderful story, and it's such a great opportunity to participate in that, being on the board of the theater and bringing the theater into that equation in a very big way. So we're looking forward to, certainly doing that. We're also, I think, very much committed to continuing to build the financial success of the theater. But we're also looking to build strengthen the infrastructure of the management as we're going forward. I am always reminding people of the fact that the theater is extremely well managed. Troy and the staff do an absolutely terrific job. And the board, I think, has done a wonderful job developing policy that helps the staff and gives the staff some guidance in some key areas. And we're hoping as we go down the road that we're going to continue to do that, strengthen that. We have added some new committees like the facilities committees to focus on some specific things that will help retain us as that world-class theater. So we're looking forward to continuing to do that. I know certainly I have big shoes to fill after Jim's chairmanship, but I am, again, as I said, honored to have the opportunity. I look forward to working with a terrific volunteer board. I think that the visionaries, Eddie Medels and Paul DeMoga, who, had a vision that none of us could see, and were persistent enough to make it happen. And then the people who came forward, Fred Eppinger from Hanover and Mary DeFutis, and the donors, all the donors that came forward to make this theater a reality. It's just such a strong foundation. And we hope, all of us hope, that are involved on the board right now, we're just going to continue to build on the success of the past.
Well, we want to thank you, and we want to thank Jimmy, and we want to thank all of the members of the board for all the hard work, and we appreciate what you do, and we're looking forward to an even bigger, better, brighter future. And maybe our vision needs to change to one of the finest performing arts center in the whole wide world instead of New England.
All right. All right.
We'll talk to you soon, and everybody, we'll see you at the theater.